What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. Today, I, the Crypto Crow, am going to be going over Playfix. And I've got a really awesome interview coming after this little segment where I want to introduce you to what this is all about. Now, before you are like, what is this? I don't know what's going on. Well, this is basically part of a paid segment, a paid series with Playfix. But before you're like, oh, it's paid, I don't care. You need to stick around because there's a big reason I'm doing this. Number one, because I really want to use this, okay? And you're going to understand why over the course of this video. AI is absolutely taking over everything. And Playfix is basically a platform that's going to enable me and ultimately you, hopefully, if you get involved in this, to learn how to use AI in the easiest way possible to start building Web3 dApps, Web3 platforms, websites, and all sorts of things. This is something you're going to want to learn more about. I'm telling you now, you need to watch the entire video. You need to watch the interview. You need to learn because the next video that comes out is basically going to be me using the platform to build a variety of different things, showing you how to do it in preparation for the launch after that. So this video is really big and it's a really big deal. So you make sure you watch it through the end and take notes. Go bookmark the website and get yourself ready. So this is the website. It's playfix.io, and this is basically going to enable you to build web-based platforms using AI, like text to like, this is what I want to build. It's going to structure the web projects. It's going to code it for you. It's going to prepare everything for you. And it's going to really empower you to do a lot of really amazing things. I'm actually really, really excited about this. And it's going to be multi-chain. The Playfix token itself is going to be on Cardano, but the platforms that it builds for are basically going to be multi-chain Web3 applications. I'm telling you, like when I say I'm excited about this, I really mean it. I've been doing a lot of different AI-based automation and everything. I've been using Ed8n. I've been using Make. I've been using everything from ChatGPT 4.0 to Claude to Perplexity. I've been doing so many different side projects and fun hobby things with AI just to learn how to use it. And this is going to be the platform that ultimately empowers me and all of us to actually build applications on it. I want to build, basically, I want to build a website for one. That's probably going to be one of the first things I do, like a cool landing page. Then I want to build like some Web3 applications. And I know that there are plans coming in the future to be able to, so that we can create our own like token swap platforms. There's a lot coming. So if you're a hobbyist or you're somebody that maybe you're looking, you want to build your own website, you want to build your own Web3 application, you're going to really want to stick around for this. So without further ado, let's get to the interview. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Crypto Crow. Sorry, it's been a while. I've been busy. I don't know what else to say. I've got a lot going on, having just moved back to where I once came from. And I am here with Tobias Abdon with Playfix.io. This is a project that I'm actually pretty excited about because this is going to hopefully allow me to do some really cool shit. And I, we're going to find out. We're going to talk a little bit more about it. Tobias, welcome, man.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me, Jason.
Did I not meet you or bump into you at Rare Evo? You were wearing glasses.
Well, I saw you speaking on stage, and then a little bit later, I bumped into you in the hallway, and and that was our first. And we took a selfie actually and posted it on our Twitter. So
okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I told my wife, I'm like, this is the first time I've been to a convention where it felt like one of my old fight shows back in the day. I used to be an MMA promoter, and I couldn't take two steps without three people like, hey, Jason, we need this. Hey, Jason, this is going on. Hey, and it was like, it was really cool. It was a very cool experience, but I don't think I ever felt so sought after as I did at the Rare Evo convention, because I had to have taken at least 50, 60 photos with people. And, it's like, I could tell that there were some people that were apprehensive. And it's like, I didn't want to rush people. It was a really interesting experience. I feel like nobody expected me to be as big as I am. I think that
Yeah,
freaked a lot of people out. I ran into Le Petite Ada, and I swear
yeah.
she's 4'8". I mean, we have a couple pictures of her. People are accusing us of faking photos. Like, those are not fake photos. My wife took those photos when she walked up to me and freaked out. She had no idea how tall I was. So anyway, it was really cool. And I did remember meeting you. I don't remember where we were heading off to. We were on our way somewhere. Otherwise I would have
Yeah.
liked to have like talked to you a bit in person. But
Yeah.
here we are.
Here we are. Yeah. No, actually, the first thing I said to you was like, "Holy shit, you're big."
I heard that
Um,
1,000 times over the
yeah.
course of that weekend, whether they were at the convention or not. Yeah, and for everybody that doesn't know yet, I am 7 feet tall,
Mm.
really, and my wife is only 5 foot tall. She's actually taking a nap in my pocket right now, so I got to be quiet. I don't want to wake her up.
Well, that's pretty cool. You're part of the UFC kind of or ecosystem. That next night, we watched the Adesanya fight, which was quite an event. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
fun
Yeah, we
stuff.
were watching it at some other place. A friend of mine, Crypto Face and Altcoin Daily, those the brothers and a bunch of people. Man, we had people on the uh RFK Junior's campaign team.
Mm,
They were hanging out with us, and they were a cool group of people. Yeah, we just had a big old group, man, at a
that's
area
cool.
we reserved, and that was a fun time. That was a good night. So
Yeah.
Playfix,
Yeah.
this so we've been kind of going back and forth a bit, and you know, this platform is either going to be really freaking amazing, or because I'm reading through the website and I'm reading through the white paper and I'm looking at a lot of the things that it's talking about being able to do. And as of
Yeah.
right now, I haven't been able to dive into it and play with it and build anything. But
Yeah.
this looks like
Yeah.
something that's really going to empower people to build some amazing stuff that we really otherwise wouldn't be able to build on our own, you know. So I'm like
Yep.
excited to hear a little bit more about this and figure out like how is this going to make me millions of dollars in 2025? Because there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff I want to build.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think, just kind of backtracking a little bit, or not backtracking, but just talking about the platform itself. What we want to do, our purpose in life, is to give people who don't have the resources or skills to launch a project. We want to have them shortcut all that technical and all that kind of design stuff and go straight to building things with AI, right? And there are other tools out there that let you build static websites and whatnot. But the real innovation here is that these will be functioning applications that can do things like mint a token, sell a token, a staking dashboard, NFT stuff. This week I was just preparing and getting ready for you actually this feature that lets you set up a page that can sell a product with ADA. Have you ever been to one of those like Stripe landing pages where on the left side there's like a product image and on the right side there's a credit card form?
Yeah,
We
with using like the Stripe API.
Yeah. So what I'm going to give access to you soon is that with just ADA. So you can sell a product, set a page up in 5 minutes and start making money without having to go through setting up an account, setting up a bank account, etc.
How
Um,
would that work? Would that have to go through like a central account to process everything?
No, that's actually the brilliant part about this. You'll use the AI, it'll build the page out. You have to define a few things, like you have to give us an image of the product, for example, or tell us the features of the product. And then you give us, you input your wallet address, you input how much you want to charge, and then you click publish and go. And it's that simple. And then the user can connect their wallet to the page. They will enter in an email address right now. We're actually just focusing on digital products to start. So they enter in an email, connect their wallet, and then click buy. That will start the transaction process on the page. They'll approve the transaction. And then in our platform, there's an orders page, an orders dashboard where you see a new order come in and you can go ahead and fulfill that and get the person what they bought.
Okay, let me ask you this, because you probably know I've been building a trading card game, right? And
Yeah.
one of the things that we've been trying to figure out is, because there seems to be on-chain limitations in terms of how many NFTs can be minted at a time.
Hmm.
And I'm not a tech, I'm not a dev, like I have no way of confirming it, but I've been hearing from a couple platforms. One platform says the limit's like 15, another one says the limit's 25. I'm like, well, okay, is there really a limit, or is this just your limit? Because ultimately we want to be able to sell booster boxes like a real
Hmm.
trading card game. You know what I mean? So you could buy a
Yeah.
booster pack, which will have like 15 cards in a pack. You buy the pack, they crack open, and then all the cards flood out. You can see what you got, right? Because it's all
Hmm.
randomized based on rarity and things. But what if somebody wants to buy a booster box and they want to buy like, 20, 30, 40, 50 packs at a time? Doesn't seem like we're able to do that right now. Do you have a
Well,
system that would enable people to do things like that?
yeah, I mean, right now that's not the first problem we're tackling, but
Okay, that's fair.
yeah, I will say this, that it's stuff like this that, I mean, that's the kind of other part of what we're gonna do is we have the core functionality built into the platform, and then we have a marketplace that we're already recruiting technology partners into, and the technology partners could build the functionality that you're talking about. From what I know, like I've been building out some and writing some of this code for minting just straight tokens. I haven't done any NFT work yet. But Cardano is just different, right, than Ethereum, right? Ethereum made it dead simple to mint a lot of NFTs at the same time. So, from what I understand, I think you have to kind of kick off a background process that would do what you want, right? Like, hey, it's not maybe on the user's page where they click go and then it mints everything for you and they get it in their wallet. It's probably going to have to be some background process that runs, but that would be possible through our marketplace of solutions.
You're okay. So Mark, all right. So let's bring that was just a genuine curiosity for me personally. But so to give people a general idea as to what Playfix IO is about, it's basically a platform that utilizes large language models to then empower people to build web pages, landing pages, dApps, Web3 applications. Like, how deep does this go in terms of like what sorts of ideas, like where does the buck
Mm,
stop? What is the
yeah.
most complicated, comprehensive thing that can be built using your platform, and like what's still out of reach?
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. I think the way that we're approaching this is to start at the other end of about the simplest thing. So the simplest thing that we just wanted to do is like, could we get a landing page built, right? That can add like connect wallet functionality. Can someone just say, hey, I want a landing page, here's what I'm building, and have it write the copy for the landing page and then design the page and then give it to the user. So that's the first thing. And then we started to layer on things. Like we did a survey of potential customers, and one of the things, or like the list of top things were, we want to be able to mint tokens and then, do something with them, like either sell them or let people swap them on our page and earn a fee from that. So that's what we started building next. Now, we have this, you can build a DEX dashboard where we'll show a trading chart, we'll show a swap widget and a list of transactions, right? So it's like tokens, pages, now DEX functionality. So that we know is going to be really important to users. We know that they want to do things like staking. Like staking actually was the highest requested item in our survey. People want to be able to quickly deploy a contract and get a staking interface set up for their project. So now we're working with some partners behind the scenes right now to see who can help us build this out and to deliver that to users. And you can kind of see where kind of our approach here, right? Like, let's talk to customers, let's see what they want, and then we'll go down that path with them. Um, in terms of how cool and awesome this could get, um, I mean, we're at the beginning of this shift, right? We're going from people writing code and having to do all this manual labor to the machines being pretty good at that, and people being able just to describe what they want in natural language. So I think eventually anything a developer could do, we're going to be able to do that with the large language model and through tools like ours, where the tools, it's providing a lot of glue. Like we don't just use a large language model and then take the code and then put it in an app. We have like this complex application that's kind of marrying like what the user wants and what the model can create to actually build the application. So you
Is it like a
still,
RAG? Did you build like and what model are you basing the Playfix platform on?
yeah, good question. Um, we do have chat bots for these sites that are using RAG techniques. So the answer to that is yes, but the application itself that builds the pages is not that. We basically um, have defined the world, we're defining like the world of applications. And so if you think about, if you just break something down, like here's a Dex widget, like we've found a way to kind of break that down and make the model understand that, and it can recreate that for the user on the fly, essentially. So now we need to do that for like everything that somebody might want to build, right? And we're not using RAG for that. We're just using like these AI agents. But they use some similar techniques to RAG.
What if I wanted to build, because there, a part of what I'm doing with my Crow Score application, that's being built out right now. And one of the things that I need to do is I have to build my own RAG for that, because the way that I'm doing certain things with white papers is, which I don't want to give away to people, but what I'm
Mm.
planning on doing, it's just the white paper element. Really, I have to create a RAG for that to basically then integrate into the rest of the system. Could I
Mm.
create a RAG through you as a
Yeah.
service that I'm piping into through an API?
Yeah, that was the first thing we built, and we built and shipped it early this year. We call it site bots because we wanted people to add a little widget to their site that was trained on their own custom data. And you could add PDFs to that. We could, scan and
That's
query
exactly what I
PDF.
need to do. I have like 8.5 gigs worth of PDFs
Oh,
I want to pull into the system. So that's my
yeah.
next question is, how far can I go with that?
Yeah. Well, right now you could add all that data to the site bot, and then it would index all of it and be able to answer questions across the whole data set. And that's possible today. You could add websites too if you had, if you wanted us to scrape your website, for example. In terms of user interface, these are either a full page like ChatGPT, or you could have it in the corner of a page that, a little customer support, like our customer query widget.
So let me
So
ask you real
those,
quick. So
yeah.
basically what this there's two different things that I'm trying to do.
Mhm.
One of them, I have like 8 gigs of trading, like how to trade, trading strategies, all kinds of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like just a huge library of these trading PDFs. And I basically want to create a rag that I can, put a prompt up on like cryptocrow.io. And like if somebody has a trading question, be able to
Mm.
just ask on my site. You know what I mean? And then learn
Yeah.
how to utilize different trading strategies with charts and graphs and things like that to kind of help them learn. Or
Mm.
probably what I probably end up doing is like putting it into my Substack as like kind of an added value service. So to do something like that, what would that cost me, right? Because I know that my use case, while specific, it's still relevant to a million different ideas that other people in the world can have. Like, hey, I would love to create, and just so people know, a RAG is like what is it? A retrieval augmented something
Generation. Yeah.
generation, right? So it's basically
Yeah.
like taking the basis for a large language model and then applying your own. It's almost like training your own AI model, right?
Yeah.
You're not training it necessarily, but you can, I guess, right? Like, and
Yeah.
so you're basically creating your own model that becomes conversational. So you can take,
Yep.
like if you're an author, you could effectively create a rag based off of like the Game of Thrones books, right? You can import all the
Mm.
Game of Thrones books and then they'd sit there and chat with Game of Thrones, right? You know how people love to
Mm.
have argument? That just came to my head. I'm like, that would be a
Mm.
cool idea for a rag. So and
Yeah.
then basically you could create a service out of it, right? So that's basically what we're talking about, which is going to be, I think these are going to become really, really, really big and powerful over time. Because like right now, everybody's creating their own websites for different things, right? Like people are trying to start their own businesses. And I remember back in the days of GeoCities, we all had our own little sites with our little animated GIFs and our pictures. It's like our little home away from home kind of thing.
Totally. Yeah.
And I think, do you remember GeoCities? Are you old
Oh yeah.
enough? Oh wow,
Oh
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that was where I learned how to code HTML over a weekend, dude. Like I had a reference guide and I was just pulling
Mm.
apart GeoCities pages. And
No, I caused an outage on GeoCities. I can tell you about later.
okay,
Um,
yeah, you have to remind me about that. I'll be real interested.
yeah.
I remember the funniest thing about GeoCities was the URL strings were like
Mm.
85,000 characters long. It was kind of funny, but ultimately, I think that rags are going to become kind of the new thing for end users. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people are going to be creating their own rags, especially like hobbyists, people that they find just they have all these compilations of data about whatever it is they're into, anime trivia, like whatever, and we're just going to see rags popping up all over the place. Everybody will check out my rag. I think these are going to become kind of a
Yeah.
new thing in the future. So
Yeah.
you offering the ability to build those, I want to learn more about that and what is the cost associated with it? So
Mm.
let's say I just wanted to create like a Game of Thrones rag, right? I don't
Mm.
even know if that's legal. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. But let's just say there's like 4 or 5 books, and I have a way of like importing them all into a rag, and I want people to be able to talk to it, maybe as a
Yeah.
service or something.
Yeah.
What is the cost associated with setting up something like that? Is it a monthly thing, an annual thing, a one-time thing?
Yeah. So it's about $24 a month right now to get our base tier, which includes the site bots. So we didn't anticipate people would have 8 gigs of data for that base tier, so you may have to pay a little bit more.
I'm a little
But
bit of a power user.
yeah, actually, I think you have even more data, right? Like you think about all the videos you made, we can actually scrape all the YouTube transcripts from those and put them in there as well. We have that built out. So that could be a whole separate thing, right? Like, hey, here's all my videos on Cardano, or you could have it on every video or segmented by some category. But the process is super easy. It doesn't cost that much. Like I said, it's $24 a month. We are moving, we've got some ideas about how to handle subscriptions in a better way because, people don't want to go and pay for a subscription every month through their wallet. But that's kind of maybe a separate topic. But you're
Real quick,
right.
before
Yeah.
I'm going to do this a lot just because I get a
Yeah.
thought, I have to, because I'll forget.
Yeah.
If you created a rag based off of something like
Mm.
Game of Thrones and then charged a service fee to access the rag, are you selling the service of the rag itself, or are you selling something that would infringe on copyright? That's a good question to
It's a
figure out.
good, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, so far, what's happened legally, OpenAI AI has been sued by a lot of content owners, and the courts have said that they aren't breaking any laws right now. I think some of those probably are still going on, but I think that the model is being trained and it's kind of it's changing it enough in its responses that it's not direct copyright infringement. I think from our point of view, we would protect ourselves from people doing that. We would say, hey, don't do anything illegal with these things. You can upload data, but if we get a request to remove it from the copyright owner, then we would see if that was a legal request or not, and then proceed accordingly. So it kind of does get a little bit technical there, but just to answer the question directly, like, yes, you could upload those books. You could have the agent pretend like it's a character or the narrator or whatever, right? And answer questions easily from that.
That is going to happen, just so you
Yeah.
know. As soon as you guys launch,
Yeah.
we're going to start seeing some of this stuff. I
Yeah.
might start one myself. I'm not sure.
Well, I want to
Okay.
help you with that trading data. After this, let's find a way to get that into the system, and then even as a proof of concept, if we start with some of them, let's get it up and let people use it and see how they see if it's helpful.
I'm all about that. Because I think what I'm trying to build here, I think that'll be a really cool service. And
Mm.
I think it'll help a lot of people learn a lot of things because some of these things go back to the 80s. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just the way things have changed over time. There's a lot of data here. So yeah, I'll be really curious to see what we can do with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and our original vision was that people would come to us in the Web3 space and they have a project that they wanted to bring to market. And timing's everything, sometimes or often. So instead of going through this long process of finding developers that you can trust, designers, etc., they could just come to us, get something out quickly, and then go to market and see if what they're doing is interesting. And that's what we wanted this RAG system to be able to do, to be trained on that site's data or any white paper or anything else that's relevant to that project, and let people talk to that agent, talk to the chatbot instead of having to go search through the white paper or whatnot. So that was the original vision, but as we're building things out now, I'm just thinking like, well, why can't anybody just build their own chat GPT interface and have it all trained on custom data, and you're conversing with your trading data or other stuff, right? Like that sounds pretty cool. And I think a lot of people would want to have like a custom branded experience like that for whatever they're doing. And that's what we'll have that too in short order.
So, so you've got the RAG system that I
Yeah.
think is going to be wildly popular as more and more people understand what they are and what they're capable of and how they can utilize them as a service. And really, I think, it's very underrated tech. I've done a lot of research on building RAGs because I
Hmm.
actually have a Mac Studio that I set up with a Llama 370B,
Oh,
and
cool.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and then I
Yeah.
set up N8N to try and, or 8N, and I can't remember the damn thing. It's two eights and an N, whatever it's called. It's the
Right.
stupidest name I've ever seen, but you know what I'm talking about. It's like a make, AI automated system, but I
Mm.
have an open source version I'm running on that. And I've been experimenting a lot with like building rags and how to do it. And it's not that easy. Like it's to have
Mm.
a system like Playfix that empowers people to build those. uh I'm assuming it's going to be fairly plug and play to some extent, maybe with some learning. I think that's going
Yeah.
to be a really big thing that I think is going to catch on more and more over this year,
Yeah.
and beyond. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and just
um
for the audience, like just so they know, like the reason why this RAG is even like relevant at all is because every model is trained on past data. So there's a cutoff date. It's whatever it is, like last December. So if you have your own project that comes up and your white paper is not in their training data, then you've got to find a way to get it into their training data. And that's what RAG does. And that's the problem that we solve through our site bots.
right, and you don't have any idea, you don't know if they're going to include everything you're trying to input into the model either.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like you either do it yourself or hope that they put relevant information that you're trying to. Yeah, I mean, rags are going to be very powerful.
Yeah.
Beyond that, though, another element that I found really interesting about the platform is, are you going to be able to create swaps? Like what is
Yeah.
that all about? Because I have a really
Yeah.
big interest in being able to, like, how will that work? Can I create like a swap or a deck swap on any blockchain, just particular ones initially? What are the fees associated with that? How does that work? How do I create my own, promote it, and make a rep on fees? And is that
Yeah.
possible, legal? What can you tell me about that?
Well, what's your motivation here? So you would want to like mint your own token and then
No, I
be
don't
able
even need to
to,
mint my own token necessarily.
okay.
Let's just say I wanted to, maybe I've got a big following. Okay, maybe I'm on YouTube, and I
Hmm.
and I want like, my, like years ago I worked on, I was going to launch an exchange, right?
Yeah.
And we were building this exchange over a long period of time, and we were like kind of alpha testing it, and then I got really nervous, and I realized like this is a really big deal, and I didn't necessarily, I've learned I didn't really trust the team that was building the platform out. I didn't really like the way they operated, the way they worked. The
Mm.
whole thing was just kind of giving me the heebie jeebies, and I just pulled the plug. I'm like, listen, I am not going to put my name, potentially my freedom, on the line for what could ultimately become millions and millions of dollars with this team of people that I'm forced to use, to build out this
Yeah.
platform. And it did not listen to me for shit. It didn't matter. All the bugs, everything I discovered, they were like, oh, that's been fixed. I'd go back. No, it wasn't. 3 or 4 times in a row, them telling me stuff was fixed that wasn't. I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm not gonna, And so I
Yeah.
pulled the plug, and everybody was real pissed, and they're like, oh, how could you, we were excited. And I'm like, because I didn't want to go to jail because these guys in some other country were being, you know wackos, right? Like, it
Yeah.
just was not worth it for me. So,
Yeah.
but I would love to have like my own thing, just nothing big, just a way, like, hey,
Yeah.
here's a Dex, a token swapper, that I'm actively promoting and I'm building up on my own or whatever. And maybe I make a percentage of the volume that I send, and but it's like themed
Yeah.
to me, almost like a white label swap or something.
Yep. Yeah, so that actually is what I'll show you in kind of the follow-up to this video here. We already have that part built. Right now it's a layer on top of everything else, so we're kind of learning, what people want and their motivations behind it. And what we keep hearing is what you said, right? Like, I want to create this site, I want to help people. Like, you'll drive traffic to it, and in exchange for doing that, you can earn fees on the swaps that are happening. So we will empower, that's what we're empowering the first, I guess the first version of our Dex functionality, is for you to, yeah, create the page, brand it, you drive people there, you get a cut of what's transacted. And it's
That'll be big.
yeah, and it's right now it's simple, right? It's not like like a fully branded, experience. Like, we have a trading view widget. Right now we're using Dex Hunter for the swap widget, and we have a table. So it's kind of like the core functionality that you'd want on a page like this. And we'll grow from there, right? We'll make you'll be able to have more customizations. You'll have more control over the fees um, that you charge the users and that you get in return. And we'll just keep iterating until we have something that everybody wants. But yeah, that's an awesome opportunity, I think, and we're definitely keen in on that.
So you've got like the Dex platform. What aren't you building? Like, 'cause I know there's so much different stuff that
Yeah,
you're making capable. Give me an idea, like, how many people on your team? Like, who's
yeah,
building all of this stuff for you? And like,
yeah.
what is your ultimate goal
Mm,
when you think of this platform, next year, right? What is it that you see happening on it? Who's using it, and what are they doing on it effectively? Because I was
mm,
going through like kind of the tokenomics of the system, and it's like, the token itself, it's not a big demand. Like, if you want to unlock a bunch of features, you've just got to basically stake $10 worth of Playfix token. Like, what? Like, that's
yeah,
really not anything.
yeah,
Is that in addition to, like you said, well, to do that is like 24 a month, so you're paying like
yeah,
25 bucks a month, and then you're getting like the base level of accessibility to the tools and features. But then if you want to go into the more big advanced, maybe you want to build your own rag, that kind of thing, I'm assuming,
yeah,
then you have to have like $10 of the Playfix tokens. That's really not a lot compared to a lot of the platforms that I've seen, like Santiment and others. What was the other
mm,
one, like Luna something or other? You got to have like $300 worth of tokens, and but that's like in lieu of a subscription altogether. So I guess you're basically
yeah,
saying, listen, the platform's cheap at 24 bucks, and for an extra 10 bucks that you're just basically staking to the platform, you unlock a bunch of more cool stuff. That's not very greedy. What else are you planning to use the tokens for outside of just like some
yeah.
staking? And there are a bunch of questions in there, but
Sure. Yeah, so I'll try to, if I can remember them. So the first one, just about our team. On the dev side, we have 3 people, so it's a very lean team. Playfix actually started off as a different company, and we raised 500,000, a couple of years ago. And then when things crashed, we scrapped that, and we've restarted under this AI thing. So we had a big team. Now there's 3 of us. We're raising more money on September 17th in a token sale, and we'll grow the team. So right now it's super lean, and we're being very nimble. Luckily, we'd spent the last year and a half, kind of the core members have been really doing a lot of AI dev. So we're specialists in this area. So that's on team side. In terms of like in a year, what you can build, um, I mean, I would love it to get to a point where somebody could come and say, I've got an idea for an application, and here's what I want it to do. Like, maybe it's a Dex like thing, but there's a twist or there's some novel feature, and we're able to build that out for them. that's kind of the holy grail here, I think, for a lot of tools like us, is to get to that point where you don't need to really interact with developers and hire them and do that whole thing. You know, there's still a lot, like, developers have to create the whole system for that to be possible. So it's not like we're getting rid of developers, but we're just obfuscating all that hard work in order to make it possible for, for people to get what they want without doing a big project or hiring a big team. So yeah, I think we'll see. Like, there's so much to unpack there, though. To being able to implement anybody's idea, whatever it is, like, we'll have to, to take it in chunks. But yeah, at the end of the day, if we could provide that flexible solution where, hey, here's an idea, I want to launch an NFT, but when someone comes to my page, I want them to connect the NFT and then have it be a members only page, like only they can see the content. And then I want some staking where they get some of the token if they stake the NFT on the site. Like, being able to describe stuff like that and then have our system build it, that would be the holy grail. I don't know if we're going to get it done in a year, but that's where we're tracking.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's cool. Just to get an idea, you know what I mean? Because you guys have a lot of stuff that you're building out. And I'm like, what is the end goal? So basically the
Yeah.
end goal is to not have an end. Just to
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
building. Okay.
Well, yeah, and I actually want to get to the tokenomics stuff too, but if you think about it, like, the way that I'm thinking about this business, right? WordPress has inspired me in a really big way, and it's not because they're innovative, right? They're 20-year-old tech. But if you look at the WordPress economy, it's a global economy. It's about $500 billion a year in the WordPress economy is what researchers estimate it at. And that's, of course, hosting fees, infrastructure, custom themes, custom plugins, just all this stuff, right? That
I'm
WordPress has
building a
created.
WordPress site right now for my wife. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And so you think about that and you, like, look at the modern version of that. Like, what are we, and especially in the Web3 version, like, Web3 actually is tiny. It doesn't even get anywhere close to 500 billion, right? It's in, like, the single digit billions. But we want to be that platform that is like the WordPress of Web3, basically. Like, and can we do it with the newest, latest tech, which is, instead of manually configuring things, you use natural language to do it. And we want to create that ecosystem. We want to create that functionality. And if we're successful, then I think it can impact all of Web3, not just Cardano. Like, this could be a platform that spans every chain, spans dozens of use cases, and helps people. I mean, at the end of the day, it's really just, can we help somebody bring their project to life where it wasn't possible before, right?
Awesome, man. I will definitely be keeping up with this. We're gonna see you again, I'm sure. And for those of you out there that have joined, make sure you go join the Discord, stay a part of become a part of the community, start
Yeah.
learning more about what you can build. And if you build some really cool stuff using Playfix, well, you might want to let me know, because I'm going to be very curious about what the world's building. And until next time, thanks for joining us. Crow your coins, and I'll see you again soon.